Lord, we just come to you today just thanking you for the blessings of life that you've given us. Thank you for this great country that we live in, this great state of Georgia, and in this county that we reside in. Lord, we just pray that you'd be with us tonight and help us to conduct the county business in a manner that would be fair to everyone. And Lord, just pray that you'd be with our EMS service, our fire departments, our deputies as they're in their line of work. Lord, we just pray for safety for those. And Lord, we just pray for our guys that are fighting for our freedoms across the country and across the waters. Lord, we just pray that you'd be with them. In that name we pray. Amen.
This time I'd like to ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'll call to order the Tuesday, April 23rd, 2019 meeting of the Hart County Board of Commissioners. I'd like to welcome everyone here. First item of business tonight is to approve the agenda. I know we got multiple changes.
Yeah, I think we're going to add McCurry Road to the no truck ordinance.
We'll just put those under B and just do both of them at the same time.
Okay.
And then the Sheriff's Office request for credit of service.
Yes, there's two of those that
Dispatcher and a deputy.
be added in under
F and G. Yeah, we'll do F and G. And then executive session should be personnel and litigation, not potential litigation. So, any other changes? Have a motion by Commissioner Oglesby to approve the agenda as amended, a second by Commissioner Teasley. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item of business is approve the minutes of the previous meetings. You've got the April 9th, 2019 regular meeting minutes in your packet.
I'll make a motion we approve the 4/9/19 regular meeting minutes.
Have a motion by Commissioner Teasley. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Sager. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is remarks by invited guests, committees, and authorities. We don't have anyone. Reports by constitutional officers and department heads. I want to recognize Ms. Lisa Evans. She's our Senior Center Director. She's going to give us a brief update.
I put together some numbers and figures for you that we've done for the quarter. So as you can see on our meals, we delivered 4,650 total meals, and you'll see the breakdown there. And how many people, 43 on Meals on Wheels.
You didn't beam Scotty up, didn't you?
Commissioner Carter's joined us by telephone. That's what this is. So, okay, go ahead.
Okay. And on our congregate meals, we serve anywhere from 25 to 30 people daily. And at the moment, we have 45 active members. And we've added 7 new within the past quarter.
I don't have to go, right?
Thank you, Rick. Sorry about that.
Sorry. And just to note for the upcoming events that we've got going on, in May is Older Americans Month, and May the 29th is Senior Fitness Day. And in the past, we've had the Hartville Sun graciously come and do an article about that for the seniors, and hopefully we'll be able to get that again this year. But we're wanting to do something outside with our seniors this year. They've been working very diligently on their goals for the year, and we want to get them outside, and hopefully we'll be able to do that at our rec department area for the upcoming Senior Fitness Day on May the 29th.
Okay. So as far as Meals on Wheels and drivers, still got an ample supply, or are you in need of assistance?
We could use some more volunteers. We've got some clients right now that are on our waiting list that live in the outreaches of the county that we are needing to get to. We have some that we're going to be able to get on frozen meals, but we do have 2 that I know of right now that can't manage frozen meals. So we are going to need some drivers that are willing to go out to past Royston to that area. We've also got one, I just came on the waiting list within the past 2 days, that's in the Savannah area. And we will be needing to get hot meals out to them every day, if possible, just because they're not going to be able to handle frozen meals, just in their situation. So that's kind of where we're at now. What we need is someone who's willing to come in and take those routes that are outside the city limits, near the borders of the county, which is very hard to get some people to do sometimes.
So are those that you're talking about, they need food to eat, and they're not being able to get it?
Well, they wouldn't be able to manage opening up our frozen boxes and working a microwave to heat them up, or our stove, because of Alzheimer's, dementia, arthritis, those kind of issues. It's like a desperate need for food at the moment, but they do need the Meals on Wheels, but they're not going out. But they don't have anyone at home during the day to help them manage to open those meals so that they can cook them so that they can eat them. So they would need a hot meal every day.
Are they within 5 miles out of home?
Within 5 miles? I'm going to say no.
They're not that far.
No, they're further out.
Well.
Yeah.
And what time those meals have to be there?
We like to get them there by 12, if possible. The meals usually get to us no later than 10:30. We would like to have them there by 12. Sometimes that isn't always the case, just depending on the day and the drivers getting there. Sometimes it's more hectic than others. But on a general good day, all meals are gone from the center by 11. And that way they can be distributed.
Anything else as far as meals or anything? Well, how many people are you serving during the day as far as activities? What's foot traffic?
On normal day, we have 25 to 30, just depending on the day. Our busiest days, Wednesday, of course, we have bingo every Wednesday. We could have 30 to 35 that come in on that day.
Okay. All right, anything else? Anybody have any questions?
I don't.
Appreciate the job you do.
Okay, well, thank you, and thank you for your support. We do appreciate it.
And I'm glad you do have volunteers that's willing to get out and deliver them meals.
Yes, they are greatly appreciated. We do really, really appreciate everything that they do for us.
Okay. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Gordon? Okay. County Administrator's report?
Got a couple of things tonight. First off, the communication folks want me to tell they appreciate y'all stopping by. That's a nice little thing. They really appreciate it. To let you know that road paving, last year's road paving was finished up today. So that's out of the way. They're moving to Hamburg Drive tomorrow, but they finished up Melody Point today.
Did they?
Yeah. So that's done. So all of the
So they ain't got down to 7 yet, right?
77, not yet. Not yet. We got to do some work on that route first.
Okay, what about the McCurdy? That's on the list? Or
That's on next year's.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on.
And this was supposed to be on this.
We're gonna try to get that on this year if we can get it fixed.
Or is there what was the one down below Katichi? That was one.
That's one we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Ernest Oliver.
Ernest
That's Oliver, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to have a lot of work done. The base is
Yeah,
collapsing.
it's in pretty bad shape.
Another thing is kind of a brief update on the storm deal last Sunday. There seemed a lot of confusion with a lot of citizens. I encourage everybody to sign up for the code red. That way they get accurate information at the time. Just to kind of give you the timelines on that. The first thunderstorm watch was issued, which we don't page out watches on code red, not thunderstorm watches. That went out at 7:57. By 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock, that changed to a thunderstorm warning for Hart and Franklin. 6:03, I'm speaking military time. 6:03, it changed to a tornado warning for Hart and Franklin County. Again, at that point when the sirens went off here in town. In 1835, another tornado warning was issued for Hart County alone, airline gold mine here, where we actually started having damage. That was at 1835. We got our first report of damage at 21:08. So that was 38 minutes warning. If people just get the app and get the warnings coming out, there was 38 minutes for people to take cover before we've had the first blow wind. It's not always going to be that much, but the more you get ahead of time, the better, the more safer you can be. We had a good bit of damage in the different places. It was a National Weather Service came in the next morning, evaluated, and rated as an F1 tornado, 6 mile stretch, 100 yards wide. It didn't stay on the ground the whole time, it just bounced. The damage started on Airline Gold Mine Road. I'm sure you don't mind me telling you, Buddy Spears' house right down here was the last damage. Another thing I want to stress, during this time, the time the sirens was going off, there was 102 calls that came in to both the sheriff's office together, the sheriff's office and 911, people just asking questions. That's tying up the 3 dispatchers we got, and I understand people are worried and know things, but they got to understand that we don't know the exact information at that time. They're tying up. I ask them not to do that. If it got an emergency for all safe purpose, call. But just to call to find out, well, what's going on? We really don't need them to do that, so these people can concentrate on what we need to be doing. And that's about it. No injuries, thank goodness. Like I said, a good bit of property damage. 2 residents had some damage. One had some major damage. The other one was fairly minor damage. A couple of barns completely destroyed. But the good thing is nobody hurt. Yeah, and like I say, I just want to stress we have started up a Facebook page, Emergency Service Facebook page. Go to that. You'll get Lisa and dispatch is putting the information on there. We hope to get you out true and vetted information, not hearsay. It's information actually we verify as much as we can with things going on. So that's another source of information you can go to. And that's all I have.
Okay. Chairman's report. I dropped the ball last week. I apologize for that. I was going to mention when I was on Back Talk Live Thursday night about the National Communications, Public Safety Communications Officers Week. I told them I would. I forgot about it, and I apologize, but I do want to let everybody know that those folks are the lifeline for our emergency services personnel out in the field and being able to connect to citizens who are calling to report issues. These folks do a tremendous job for us, and they're really appreciated. So I did want to cover that. And the other thing was, Gerald, we probably need to put something out or let people know we're getting calls about bush hogging with all the rain we've had, and now that the grass is really growing on the side of the roads. Just so everybody knows, we're not out. We're hitting the high volume roads right now. Some of the secondary roads we're not getting because we cannot keep up with the workload that we've got and the rain that we've had. So just so everybody's aware, when they come through and cut, on the shoulder of the road and don't cut all the way back to the ditch, the reason for that is we're trying to do this as a containment activity so we can keep these main roads clear as best we can.
Correct. Correct. We got every bush hog we got and every tractor running all day, every day.
So, just wanted to get that out there. That's all I've got under Chairman's report, Commissioner's report, District 1.
You took care of mine in the new business.
District 2.
Only echo what Joey said about emergency services and law enforcement. Appreciate the job that they do, and I know they stay busy around there, but I do appreciate it, and I know the people of Hart County do too.
I probably left that out, but nobody has any idea how much these folks get out and work. That's fire, EMS, law enforcement, and road department. Them folks are out just like the rest of us. We couldn't get where we're going if they were not getting things cleared up.
That's right.
That's all I got.
District 3.
Yeah, I'd just like to reiterate what County Administrator has pointed out, how important Code Red is. I've had it on my phone for 2 years, and, you know, it puts you at your location. It's not a general area. It's talking about the roads you live on. And so there's going to make a little announcement here, Hart County Emergency Service, on behalf of them. There's 4 ways that you've got an option to sign up. The first one is go to the www.hartcountyga.gov and look for the link. There's a link on there. It says Code Red. Just click on it and follow the instructions. Also visit Hart County Emergency Services Facebook page and look for the Code Red link. The third way, download the Code Red app on your cell phone. And also the fourth way is, I think, may be a lot easier for a lot of people. Come by here at the administration building on Monday, April the 29th, between 11 and 1, or between 5 and 7 here at 800 Chandler Street. And there'll be people in the lobby that will help you register for Code Red. Very good app. It's very good information, and I encourage all of our people in Hart County to sign up for that. And also another feature about if you go on vacation, it will follow you to that location. Like if you're in Myrtle Beach or whatever, it'll give you warnings wherever your phone's at. So it's a good app to have. That's all I got.
Okay. Commissioner Carter is not with us tonight. He is joining us by phone. Commissioner Carter, you got anything? Apparently not. Okay, moving on into old business. First item on the agenda is Worley Road abandonment public hearing. We started the process of abandonment several weeks ago, and my understanding tonight, we need to have a public hearing, and then we'll officially vote to abandon this road. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor. Can I get a motion to open up the floor for a public hearing?
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Oglesby and a second by Commissioner Teasley. If there's anyone here who would like to address the board in regard to Worley Road, if you'll please come to the podium. Nobody? Can I get a motion that we close the public hearing?
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Oglesby and a second by Commissioner Teasley. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Mr. Gordon, the public hearing has been completed. No one showed, so we're ready to move forward with the actual vote to abandon. Is that correct?
Thank you. Let me just add to the record for the public hearing that a notice was duly published in the Hartwell Sun on April 11th and April 18th, and that all adjoining landowners, there are relatively few, were served by certified mail with a notice of the partial abandonment. The abandonment itself is for a length of 145 feet, beginning at a point approximately 510 feet from the intersection with U.S. Highway 29, and then continues to a dead end as shown on the map that's attached to the resolution. It recites that the public hearing was held and that no objections were raised, and that the public interest would be served by permanently abandoning that portion of the road, which is on our system as County Road 466. And I have the motion.
Okay.
So moved,
Could I
Mr.
get a
Chairman.
Resolution.
motion? You want to read it? Let me read it.
Oh, you want to read it? I thought I wanted to read it.
Did you read it? You didn't read it out, did you?
Oh, I didn't read the whole thing, but yeah, I did just,
Just a resolution.
Yeah, just,
Could I get a motion that we move forward with adopting a resolution to abandon County Road, portion of County Road 466? Have a motion by Commissioner Oglesby and a second by Commissioner Teasley. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand.
Marcy?
You, okay. All right. Motion carried unanimously, I'm sorry. So we'll go ahead and sign this. Next item on the agenda is new business. At this time, I'd like to recognize Miss Anna Strickland, who's an Archway professional. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Doing good.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Board. Thank you for the opportunity to be with y'all tonight. We'll start off, it'll be a very brief report, but giving an overview of Archway's impact in the long-term, big picture, cumulative level, before we narrow down our discussion to that one-pager that you have in front of you, and that was in your boxes a few weeks ago. So just know we'll start big and then go small, so to speak. So as you are all aware, Hart County's been an Archway community since 2008, and right now it's one of 7 in the state. Since 2008, community members have engaged in diverse project work, which are all opportunities for community members, all local leaders to be involved and practice collaborative problem solving and learn to utilize higher education resources. So just looking back at the impact since 2008, over 200 projects have been completed, and I looked in the database earlier today, and that's over 250 projects have been completed since that report was filed. And these projects serve as tools for you all to make knowledge-based decisions on issues that are important to you. Over 500 community members have been engaged in project work, and over 50 faculty collaborations have taken place in our community. So the world's leading researchers at the University of Georgia, our state's flagship research institution, have since 2008 used Hart County as a place for research to inform their work. With that being said, over 100 students, some of the best and brightest at the University of Georgia, essentially from all over the world, not just the state, have been involved in real-world learning experiences right here in our community. We've had several, since we're coming to the end of our school year, we've had several student presentations here recently, and we always ask, okay, well, what did you learn? What will you take away from this experience? Most of those students truly are from Metro Atlanta or out of state. They're from big cities, and they just really enjoy the opportunity to interact with local leaders from a small town, so to speak, and to see how engaged a community can be, and that's impacted them. And they'll be our state's leaders one day, and Hart County's contributed to that. Since 2008, over $1 million in local grants have been attained, and as you know, this isn't to say that Archway applies for these grants, but Archway might have helped supplement some of the materials in those grant applications, so long as they fall in line with our work plan priorities. And this record of success, it's simply incredible and something this community should celebrate. Hart County truly does set the bar high for what it means to be an Archway community, and I think that's because you all know how to leverage your relationship with the university so that everyone benefits, and you're really setting the standard for collaboration. I was on campus today for a couple of meetings and bragged on this community at least a few times. I take every opportunity to brag on this community and talk about the great work that we're all doing together, not because you have to, but because you've made a choice to go above and beyond and to lead your community to new heights. So it's truly a pleasure to come to work every day here in this community. Since our last listening session in 2017, you are aware that our priorities were updated to include preparing for growth, quality of life, tourism, and workplace development and education, and that was due to community feedback. As you can see, all of these priorities are interconnected, and they really do take a holistic approach to community and economic development. So you have that highlight sheet at your table. And this will give you some examples of the work that was done over this past year. A couple of items to highlight. Jim is over here in the corner, so he can speak to this better than I can, but we worked with a Master's of Public Administration student to compile 2 long-range plans. One of those was for the Hart County Recreation Department, and the other was for the Hart County Fire Department. And both of those were updates. Those were previous Archway projects as well. And so we like to calculate the value of projects whenever we can. We look at the number of hours a student spent, the number of weeks a student spent on a project, and then take 25% of the wage rate that would have been had a professional planner had done that work. And so we're looking at the value for each of those projects being just under $4,500 each. So that's just an example of return on investment with just those 2 projects. And if you're interested in other project numbers, I'll be happy to get those for you. Other items worth noting. We're excited that on October 11th, our CyberArch Task Force, and if you'll remember, this is an initiative from the provost at the University of Georgia. There are 2 pilot communities in our state with that CyberArch initiative, and Hart County is one of them. And so we're excited that on October 11th, we'll be piloting a community training for best practices with cybersecurity. Several people in this room have been involved with that initiative and guiding it locally. And so that training will be open to city employees, county employees, school system employees, small business, and industry, really looking at those HR professionals and other end users. So I'll be happy to provide you with more information on that as I have it. And then we are very excited that Hart County was chosen as the site for 4 engineering projects in our community. So those are senior capstone projects, and really the students, whether or not they graduate from the College of Engineering, it relies on their performance on these projects. So like I said, we were chosen to have 4 of those, and those presentations will be on this Friday at Hart Telephone Company, and we appreciate them being a host. You can see them listed, but everything from a solar LED lighting feasibility study out at the Gateway Parks, a feasibility study for a recreation center, a feasibility study for expansion of North Hart Elementary School, and then a City of Hartwell wastewater discharge feasibility study. So all of those projects happen to fall under our Preparing for Growth priority. So, we're excited that it's hard to believe we're in our 11th year as an Archway community, and we have a lot to look forward to moving forward because of a dedicated group of local partners who contribute so that the entire community benefits from this program. And so, of course, to reiterate, because we do want them to be recognized, those funding partners are the City of Hartwell, of course, the Hart County Board of Commissioners, the Hart County Board of Education, Hart County Chamber of Commerce, Hart County Industrial Building Authority, and the Hart Telephone Company. So we appreciate their support, and at this time, I'll be happy to entertain any questions.
Anybody have any questions? I do have one quick one.
Yes, sir.
Bowersville,
Yes, sir.
I see projects being done there. They're not a contributor. How is that coming about? Is that coming under the county's umbrella?
Well, so remember, everybody contributes so that the whole community benefits. So it's not looked at as it's a county project or a city project or a Hart Telephone Company project.
I understand.
Right. So those projects with Bowersville to date have taken place under the tourism priority.
But through the Hart County funding part, is that how?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
The reason I asked that question is we have a portion of the city of Cannon, and we have a portion of the city of Royston that should also, if Bowers was going to fall under this umbrella of the county, they should have the same opportunity. That's why I'm asking the question.
Yes, sir. And I'd definitely be open to, and I'm sure our executive committee would be open to discussing that further. Something that you might be excited to learn about that's up and coming. We are launching under our work plan, a revised goal under our tourism priority. We're launching a regional tourism roundtable. And I spoke at the JDA meeting last night about that initiative. But, Mr. Chairman, that will include Hart, Stevens, and Franklin County. And it will include the chambers of those communities and the DDA and the economic developers and other entities. But no, every Archway community looks different about how different municipalities are incorporated in the work plan. So please, let's not forget to discuss that moving forward. I think that's a great thing we can look into. Appreciate that.
Anybody have anything else?
Yeah, I wonder, does Hart County Training School historical?
Yes, yes. So they applied, Dr. Nathaniel Clark has been our main point of contact for that, and he's been an absolute joy to work with. So he applied the first round, and those applications were due last October. It was, I don't want to say denied, but it was deferred with edits to be made. So we are looking to help them with that application, and that he will resubmit that this fall. And really, from what we understood, the main edits that needed to be made to that application were to pump up that it was a Rosenwald school and to really emphasize the historical significance of that.
What kind of school you said was?
The Rosenwald School. And I can get you all the information on
No,
that.
That's my school.
Right, right. So,
That's why I went to school at.
and if you would like to, we have a local project committee, and if you would like to join that committee, you're more than welcome.
I'm interested in what they're seeking.
They are seeking a plaque at the old site.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Historical
monument.
marker. That's right, from the Georgia Historical Society. That's exactly right.
Same thing that we had, you remember when we had the situation before, Joey? This is the same thing.
I remember that well.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, if y'all have any advice or insight into that, I would love to meet with you
Well,
after.
maybe this time they're going about the right way.
Well, and it's been we've engaged with historic preservation students to assist with that application, and we felt that they did do a really good job, but there is a local project committee too.
Yeah, I've been going to the meetings, and what's good about it, the guy you talked about, Clark.
Yes.
He's hitting it up pretty good, so.
He has been.
I just seen it on here, just want to ask a question.
That's exactly right. So, yeah, stay tuned. That's a work in progress. Everything's a work in progress, I feel like.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else for us?
No, sir.
Okay. we
Thank you for
appreciate
your
it.
time. Would it inconvenience you? Would you like me to sit, or
Was that-
would you entertain any questions from the crowd or anything like that?
If anybody has any questions? Okay, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Anna.
We had in our packet the Archway MOU for 2020. We want to move forward with that, or what's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to move forward.
Have a motion by Commissioner Sayer, a second by Commissioner Teasley. We move forward with the 2020 FY Archway MOU. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. All righty, next item on the agenda is to amend our ordinance, no-through truck ordinance, to add a section of Andrew Floyd Road. This will be the section from Farm Road over to Red Wine Church Road, and also to add McCurley Road to the no-through truck ordinance. Would consider this our first amendment, our first reading to the amendment of this ordinance. Could I get a motion that we take this as a first reading for
I'll make a
that
motion.
section of Andrew Floyd and McCurley Road?
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Sayer and a second by Commissioner Teasley. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is Evelyn East request to use the courthouse grounds for a yoga class. You got a memo in your packet from the county administrator. First question I got, is this going to be a for-profit?
I'll let you come on.
Okay.
You need to come up with the podium.
Ms. East, is that right?
No, actually, she is not
Okay.
here tonight. My name is Gigi Mellinson. Nice to see you all tonight. So we will be charging the people to participate, but it basically will go straight to the instructor. This is really just more about getting yoga outside for the community to see and know and recognize that they are able to get out and exercise with us, and it's something that's good for their body. And we're glad to be able to do the exercise inside of a studio, but a lot of people don't see it and don't know that they are able to also participate. So when it's warm outside, we just like to bring it outside and give everybody a chance to see what it is and pique their interest and maybe join us.
Typically, we do not allow this for profit. on the courthouse grounds. If this was a nonprofit or a free, a free thing, I don't think the board would have a problem with it, but the fact that there's going to be charges, I mean, I don't think that's consistent with what we've done in the past.
Okay. So my question would be, is there another place in the downtown area that we could consider, or?
Well, you've got the literacy center that you could rent the basement in. I mean, there's, obviously it's going to be a building.
Yeah,
You got
we
the
wanna be
recreation
outside.
department. There's fields out there that are, that if Little League has an exclusive first right of refusal for the fields, but they don't use them every night, they could be done there.
Would
There's
we
no
have to come
charge
back to
there.
another meeting to get an
No,
approval?
you just need to coordinate with the recreation director. He's in the back room, back of the
Okay.
room back there.
Okay, and then if we could somehow figure out a way to do it without having to charge anybody anything, would we have to come back to?
I think that would be appropriate, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is recreation fees, item 13D. There's a memo in our packet from the Recreation Advisory Board looking at charging fees for different facility uses. Terry, I'll let you.
What I've got first on my memo is the existing fees, and then attached to that behind is the minutes from the Rec Advisory Board meeting on their recommendations. And then they've also got the current fees listed in their minutes with their suggestions. So again, before we get to the next item, which is bidding out uniforms, there's a change in those prices too, so it's included in here.
So how long we been having the existing fees that we have now?
These were set, I believe it is in 70s, 90, I'll get my, 2016.
2015, so
16,
that's
yeah.
roughly 4 years, 3
4
years
years,
ago.
correct.
Next question is, what warranted these changes to be made? Is something that we not seeing that caused these changes come about, or what is the issue?
Well, I'd assume the cost of power and everything else is one of, is what I would assume instead of thinking behind it. Jim, you got anything, other reason they want to go up on the charges?
Well, this right here, it says concession fees go up, use of lights.
Well, they've added some in.
Who was managing the lights that could be cut them off when no one down at the fields?
They're in a locked box, whoever got.
But the light runs
Well-
almost 24 hours and the lights don't cut off.
Well, that's supposed to be up to, if the Little League's got it rented, that's up to the Little League coach or representative that's down there when I'm practicing that. And we do get calls that they left the lights on. And when we get calls, I send somebody out and cut them off. But it's supposed to be, as part of their agreement, is they can cut the lights on and off for Little League. Other folks is different, I'm sure.
All right.
That issue is more so with the old park, because the new park,
It's on
everything's
timer.
on timer.
Did all this right here come about from the old park?
No, it's everything.
No, it's all of it.
It's a long point. No, I make a motion, we go ahead and adopt this.
I have a motion by Commissioner Sayer. Is there a second?
Do we have a clear understanding of what we're adopting?
It's pretty well the same thing as it was last year, except for the changes that have been mentioned right here.
Okay, the changes on the front page right here where they're changing. What were the omission before they changed to adopt?
No, what I've listed
This
is
is
what
what
they are now.
it is now. This is what they're changing to.
Hold on just a minute for that.
Yeah. No, what I've got listed in my memo is the existing charges.
Basically, the only thing that was changed was the additional hours be a cost of $10 per hour. Instead of renters would rent a second floor time block for $50.
Now, this is only when somebody makes a reservation. If somebody wants to go in there and play at the field or whatever, and it's not being used, there's no charge, is my understanding. This will be in the
Correct.
event of a reservation where you would have exclusive rights to the facilities, and if somebody was there, you would have that reservation, so you you would take priority because
Correct.
you're paying, just so everybody's clear what we're doing here.
I'll give Marshall a second on the motion.
Yeah. But basically, that's if you reserve the field for a special event, or you reserve one of the buildings for
Correct.
a meeting or a dance or whatever.
So the dance classes, they're senior citizen dancing now, they don't pay. They didn't start paying? Okay,
It stayed the same.
I'm good.
Yeah, the only thing that changes is that additional hour. So I have a motion by Commissioner Sayer and a second by Commissioner Teasley. And just as I made that point of clarification, just so everybody understands. And this would not apply to Little League because Little League has a contract
Correct.
with us, just as another point of clarity.
Little League and Bart Academy have
That's true.
a contract with us.
So, I have a motion, second, any more discussion, public comment? Not, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is request to bid recreation football, cheerleader uniforms, and sport photography.
I make a motion that we send the recreation football equipment out and photography, but I want to make sure when we do the contract or the prices that they come back or be sent out, make sure all documents are correct before we open the bid up.
Correct. I'll be
And not
sure to
have
go.
no
I'll be
problem
sure
like
to
we've
go.
been in the past concerning the bid.
I want to say something else here too. This is not something we have to do right now, correct?
What's the deadline? Sign-up started 1st of May.
The reason I'm asking the question is there was a lot of complaints about the cheerleader uniforms last year. I had at least a half a dozen.
This one,
That can change.
I understand. I just want to make sure, but I think we should see an example of what we're looking to bid before. Yes, come on up, Jim. I mean, I can tell you there were some kids whose feelings were hurt when they saw some of the other counties' uniforms as cheerleaders. So go ahead.
We took that, we heard that, and that's why we're making a change. Last year, we went with little shorts like this and a T-shirt. Okay? This year, we're looking to go at something more like this. This is a real cheerleading uniform. And that's what the board has recommended to go with.
Yeah, that's comparable to what all the other counties who are participating in had. So I just want to make sure that was clear. Okay. Is there a motion to move forward with bidding these out?
I'll make a motion that we move forward.
I made a motion.
Oh, did
You
you?
did.
I'm
You
sorry.
already said
I have a
that.
motion by Commissioner Oglesby.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Teasley. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item 13F, a request by the Sheriff's Office to grant a newly hired deputy 6 years grateful experience, which is in line with our policy.
So,
I'll make a
Mr.
motion
Chairman.
that-
Oh, go ahead, you good.
I'll make a motion, we approve that request.
Have a motion by Commissioner Teasley. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Oglesby. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. 13G, I'll make a request for credit for dispatcher for 4 years' experience, which again is in line with our policy
I'll
for
make
the
a
Sheriff's
motion.
Office.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Sayer, and a second by Commissioner Teasley. Any more discussion? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is public comment. If you'd like to come and address the board, if you'll come to the podium. Anybody for public comment? Not, could I get a motion that we go into executive session for personnel and litigation?
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Teasley and a second by Commissioner Sayer. Any more discussion? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously.
The extension office going to be.
No. Okay. All right.
Go on, sugar, go ahead, boy, you go and enjoy yourself tonight. He getting the award.
Well, you're getting
He getting the award. Then I'm going to get that
Okay,
award.